Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to the English Leap podcast, the show that makes learning English feel less like a homework assignment and more like a conversation with your favorite people. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jake. And honestly, if you're listening to this right now, on your commute, while you're making breakfast, or maybe still lying in bed, we are so glad you're here.
It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday?
Wait, still in bed? Jake, are you speaking from personal experience?
Okay, fine. I may or may not have recorded a whole episode once while sitting in bed with my coffee. No judgment zone, people. No judgment zone.
This is exactly why we love our listeners. And speaking of bed, today's episode is all about what happens after you get out of it. We're talking about morning routines and daily habits.
Yes! The way you start your morning really does set the tone for your whole day. At least that's what every productivity guru on the internet keeps telling me.
You've been watching those videos again, haven't you?
Guilty. I went down a rabbit hole at 2 in the morning watching people wake up at 5 a.m. and do yoga and journal and drink green smoothies, and I closed my laptop and went to sleep. That is the most relatable thing you have ever said on this podcast.
I try my best.
Okay, but before we dive into the actual topic, we want to say something to anyone who's listening and maybe feeling a little nervous about their English right now. Maybe you understood everything we just said, or maybe you only caught about half of it. And that's okay, truly.
Yeah, English is a messy language. It really is. And learning it is even messier. Some days you feel like you're flying, and other days you read one sentence 3 times and still have no idea what it means. That's not a sign that you're bad at English. That's just Tuesday.
That's just Tuesday. I love that. What Jake is saying is your English doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. Every episode you listen to, every word you pick up, every phrase you try out, it all adds up. So just relax. Enjoy the conversation and let the language wash over you.
All right, so morning routines. Anna, let's start with the icebreaker. What does your morning actually look like? And be honest, not the Instagram version.
Okay, the real version. Right. So I wake up and the first thing I do, and I'm not proud of this, is I grab my phone. I scroll for like 10 minutes, maybe 15.
We've all been there.
And then I sort of drag myself to the kitchen, make coffee, stare out the window for a bit, and then I start to feel like a human being.
Stare out the window. I love that. That's a very underrated part of a morning routine.
It is. I think there's something really grounding about just sitting quietly before the day gets loud, you know?
Yeah, I actually get that. My mornings are chaotic, I'll be honest. I have a cat named Biscuit who has decided that 6:30 a.m. is the perfect time to walk across my face.
Biscuit.
Every single morning. So my alarm is basically just Biscuit. And then I make tea. I'm a tea person, not a coffee person, which I know is controversial.
Very controversial.
And I try to go for a short walk before I sit down to work. That part I'm actually pretty consistent about. Like, rain or shine, 20 minutes, just me and the neighborhood.
Oh, that's lovely. I feel like walks are so underestimated as a habit.
Totally. And it wasn't always like this, by the way. I used to just roll out of bed, open my laptop, and immediately start replying to emails in a half-asleep panic.
That sounds awful.
It was awful. I was always a bit on edge by 9 a.m. I feel like my morning walk genuinely changed that.
See, that's exactly the kind of thing we want to talk about today. Not the perfect morning routine that successful people swear by, but the real human experience of trying to build habits that actually stick.
So let's get into it. The big question, why do morning routines even matter? Like, does it really make a difference if you have one or not?
I think it genuinely does. And here's why. Your brain, first thing in the morning, is actually in a really receptive state. You haven't been bombarded by 100 decisions yet. So whatever you do in those first 30, 60 minutes, it has a disproportionate disproportionate impact on how your brain is calibrated for the rest of the day.
Disproportionate impact. I like that. Say more.
Okay, so have you ever had a morning where everything went smoothly? Like you woke up, had time for breakfast, weren't rushing, and you just felt ready?
Yes, absolutely. And those days always seem to go better.
Right, and then compare that to a morning where your alarm didn't go off, you spilled something, you were late, and suddenly the rest of the day feels like you're constantly playing catch up.
Oh, man, yeah, it's like a domino effect.
Exactly, and that's not just a coincidence. Psychologists actually call it setting your behavioral tone. How you begin a sequence of actions kind of primes your brain for what comes next.
That's fascinating. Okay, so for our listeners who are maybe just getting into this whole building a routine thing, what would you say are some non-negotiable habits, like the ones that are truly worth cultivating?
Okay, I'll give you my top 3. Number 1, water. The first thing you put in your body in the morning should be water. Not coffee, not your phone, water. You've been asleep for 7 or 8 hours. You're dehydrated and you don't even know it.
Preach. I forget this constantly.
Number 2, some kind of movement. It doesn't have to be a full workout. Like Jake said, even a 20-minute walk makes a huge difference. Movement gets the blood flowing and literally wakes up your brain.
Okay, agreed. What's number 3?
Intention. Just taking 2 minutes, could be while you're drinking your water, to think about what you actually want to accomplish today. Not a 5-page to-do list. Just what are the 2 or 3 things that matter?
I love that. It's so simple, but I feel like most people skip it. I love that. It's so simple, but I feel like most people skip it.
Because it feels too easy. Like, we always assume the effective things have to be complicated or painful.
The gym has really done a number on us, hasn't it? No pain, no gain for everything.
Exactly. But honestly, the most sustainable habits are usually the quiet, gentle ones. The ones you barely notice you're doing, until one day you realize you've been doing them for a year.
Yeah. There's this idea, and I think it comes from a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, about how tiny, consistent actions compound over time. Like, you're not trying to transform your life in one dramatic morning, you're just stacking small wins.
Stacking small wins. I love that phrase.
And that applies to English learning too, by the way. Listening to this podcast for 20 minutes a day is exactly that. Small, consistent compounding.
Aw, Jake. Very smooth.
I try.
Okay, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people struggle with, which is being consistent. Because I think we've all had that moment where we decide we're going to build this amazing morning routine, and we're great for like 4 days, and then life happens, and we fall off the wagon.
Oh, absolutely. I've done this so many times. I'll be completely consistent for a week, and then I have one bad night's sleep, and the whole thing just collapses.
Right. And then the guilt kicks in, and the guilt is almost worse than the missed habit itself, because it stops you from getting back on track.
That's such a good point. I think we put too much pressure on the idea of being perfect. Like, the goal isn't to never miss a day. The goal is to miss as few as possible. And when you do miss, to just get back on the horse the next morning.
Get back on the horse. That's such a good one. For our listeners, that's an idiom that means to try again after a failure or setback. Like, imagine you fell off a horse. You don't just walk home, you climb back on.
Right. And I think that's the mindset shift that makes the biggest difference. Going from, I broke my streak, everything is ruined, to, okay, I missed one day, let's try again tomorrow.
Self-compassion, basically.
Exactly. And you know what? That applies so much to language learning. People get so discouraged when they make mistakes in English. Like, they say something wrong and they think, I'm terrible at this.
I hear this a lot.
But making mistakes is the learning. You're not failing, you're just iterating. Every mistake is data. Your brain is going, okay, that didn't work. Let me file that away and try differently next time.
I actually heard this beautiful analogy once. Learning a language is like learning to ride a bike. You're going to wobble, you're going to fall, but you don't decide you can't ride bikes. You just keep going. And eventually it becomes second nature. Exactly.
Okay, let's switch gears a little. I want to talk about the evening side of a routine, because I think mornings don't exist in isolation. Like, your morning is actually built the night before.
Oh, yes, the evening routine as the foundation of the morning. This is so true.
Right? Like, if you stay up until 1 in the morning watching Netflix, and I'm guilty, I've done this, we all have, then your 6:30 a.m. alarm is gonna feel like an act of violence.
An act of violence. Wow.
But if you wind down properly, put your phone away an hour before bed, maybe read something, do something relaxing, you actually wake up feeling like a person.
The phrase wind down is perfect for this. It means to gradually relax and slow down, usually before sleep. Like a clock that's been wound up, you let it slowly unwind. It's a phrasal verb, actually. Wind down.
And the opposite, which is what a lot of us do, is we ramp up before bed. We watch something intense, we scroll social media and see something that makes us anxious, we check our emails and think about work.
And then we wonder why we can't sleep.
We're our own worst enemies sometimes, honestly.
Speak for yourself, Jake.
Fair enough, fair enough.
But I think there's something important here, which is that routines, morning and evening, are fundamentally about self-respect. They're saying, I matter enough to take care of myself. My time matters. My energy matters.
That's beautifully put. And I think for a lot of people, especially people who are juggling a lot, who are busy, who are maybe learning English while also working full-time and raising kids,
Which is so many of our listeners.
it can feel selfish to take time for yourself, to have a morning ritual that's just yours.
But it's not selfish at all. It's the opposite. When you take care of yourself in the morning, you show up better for everyone else in your life. It's like they say on airplanes, put on your own oxygen mask before helping others.
That's such a perfect analogy. And it applies to English learning too, honestly. When you invest time in yourself, in growing and learning, you become more valuable, more confident, more capable in every area of your life.
Okay, I want to end this main section with a question I love asking. If you could only keep one habit from your morning routine, like if you had a morning that was completely chaotic and you only had 5 minutes, what would you keep?
My walk.
Even if it's just 5 minutes around the block. Just get outside, breathe fresh air, exist in the physical world for a moment. I love that. For me, it would be the coffee and the window staring.
Of course.
But genuinely, that moment of stillness before anything else starts. Just quiet.
Beautiful. Okay, I think it's time for everyone's favorite section.
The word tour.
All right, word tour time. This is the part of the episode where we walk through the key words and phrases we use today. If you're a learner, this is your moment to grab your notebook.
Or just listen. Your brain is picking things up even when you're not writing. Trust the process.
Okay, word 1, disproportionate. disproportionate. Anna used this one when she was talking about how morning habits have a disproportionate impact on the rest of the day.
So disproportionate means larger or smaller than you'd expect. It's not in proportion. A proportion is a balanced ratio. Dis makes it unbalanced. So if something has a disproportionate effect, the impact is much bigger or much smaller than the size of the cause would suggest.
Example sentence: a small amount of sleep deprivation has a disproportionate impact on your focus and mood.
Exactly. Great word for IELTS, by the way, listeners.
Word 2, receptive. R-E-C-E-P-T-I-V-E. I said your brain is in a receptive state in the morning.
Receptive means open and willing to receive or accept something. Ideas, information, change. It comes from receive. If someone is receptive to feedback, They listen without getting defensive. If your brain is in a receptive state, it's ready to absorb and learn.
Example, children are naturally receptive to new languages because their brains are so flexible.
Lovely.
Word 3, cultivate. C-U-L-T-I-V-A-T-E. Jake asked what habits are worth cultivating. Cultivate literally means to grow plants, like to tend to a garden, but we use it metaphorically to mean to develop something slowly and carefully over time. You can cultivate a habit, a skill, a friendship, or even a talent.
Example, she cultivated a habit of reading every morning, starting with just 5 minutes a day.
Beautiful. Word 4, compound. C-O-M-P-O-U-N-D. I talked about how tiny habits compound over time.
As a verb, compound means to increase or build up by adding to itself repeatedly. It's a word used in finance. Compound interest means your interest earns interest, but we use it for habits and learning too. Small actions compound into big results over time.
Example, the effects of bad sleep compound over the week. You might feel fine on Wednesday, but by Friday, your productivity crashes.
Great one. Word 5, sustainable. S-U-S-T-A-I-N-A-B-L-E. Anna said the most sustainable habits are quiet and gentle.
You said that.
I did say that. So sustainable means something that can be kept up for a long time without depleting your energy or resources. We hear this word about the environment a lot, sustainable energy, but it applies to habits too.
If a habit isn't sustainable, it's probably too extreme or too difficult to maintain. Like an extreme diet might work for 2 weeks, but if it's not sustainable, you'll give it up.
Example, a sustainable exercise routine is one you actually enjoy and can keep doing for months or years.
Perfect. Now, phrases and idioms. We had some good ones today. Let's do 4.
Phrasal verb 1, wind down. We talked about winding down in the evening.
Wind down means to gradually relax and slow down, usually at the end of the day or after something intense. It can also mean a project or event is coming to an end. The party is starting to wind down.
Example for learners. I wind down before bed by reading for 20 minutes and making chamomile tea.
Idiom 2, fall off the wagon. Anna used this one when talking about losing consistency with a routine.
Give yourself a pat on the back if you already knew some of those, and if they were new, welcome to your vocabulary. Now, they live here forever.
Okay, we are coming to the end of today's episode, and I genuinely had so much fun with this one.
Same. Morning routines feel so simple, but there's just so much depth to it, right? It touches on habits, psychology, self-care, discipline, compassion.
All the good stuff. And for our English learners, I hope we found this conversation useful and maybe a little bit relaxing. That's always the goal, to make you forget just for 20 minutes that you're studying.
The sneakiest kind of studying.
The best kind.
Now, before we go, we want to leave you with a question for the comments. Ready?
Ready.
Here it is. What is one small habit you have or want to build as part of your morning routine? And how long did it take you to make it feel automatic?
We would love to read your answers. Leave them in the comments below, on our social media, or send us a message. And hey, even writing your answer in English is good practice. That's right, you're learning even when you think you're just chatting with us. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We know there are a million things you could be doing, and the fact that you chose to be here, that means the world.
Keep going, keep learning, keep showing up. Even when it's messy, even when it's slow, you are making progress, even when you can't see it yet. Take care of yourselves. Drink your water, go for that walk. And get back on the horse if you need to.
From Anna
and Jake.
See you in the next one. Bye.